Alberta is often seen as a two-party province, where the United Conservative Party and the New Democratic Party dominate the political landscape. But there are other parties that are trying to break the polarization and toxicity in politics and bring back a more collaborative and pragmatic approach. In this section, we will look at some of these third parties and what they are offering in election. One of these parties is the Alberta Party, which describes itself as a radical centrist party that seeks to balance economic growth and social responsibility. The Alberta Party has been around since 1985, but it gained more prominence in 2011 when it elected its first MLA, Dave Taylor. Since then, the party has had a few more MLAs join its ranks, but none of them were re-elected. The party's current leader is Barry Morishita, who was elected in 2020 after former leader Stephen Mandel stepped down. Morishita is a former mayor of Brooks and a former president of the Alberta Urban Municipalities Association. He says he wants to make the Alberta Party a credible alternative to the UCP and the NDP by focusing on issues such as healthcare, education, economic diversification, democratic reform and environmental stewardship. Another party that is trying to appeal to Albertans who are dissatisfied with the status quo is the Liberal Party of Alberta, which has a long history in the province dating back to the Liberals were the first party to form government in Alberta and held power until they also formed the official opposition for many years until they were overtaken by the NDP. And the Liberals currently have no MLAs in the legislature, but they are hoping to change that in 2023 under their new leader John Roggeveen, who was elected in 2021 after former leader David Kahn resigned. Roggeveen is a lawyer and a former federal Liberal candidate who says he wants to rebuild the party from the ground up by engaging with grassroots members and supporters. He says he wants to offer Albertans a progressive vision that includes investing in public services, fighting climate change, protecting human rights and promoting diversity and inclusion. A third party that is aiming to shake up the election outcome is Take Back Alberta, which is not a registered political party but a third-party advertiser that supports conservative candidates and causes. Take Back Alberta was founded in 2019 by David Parker, a longtime political operative who has worked for various conservative parties and leaders. Parker says he started Take Back Alberta as a grassroots movement to challenge Jason Kenney's leadership of the UCP and to push for more libertarian policies such as lower taxes, less regulation, more private health care and more autonomy for Alberta within Canada. Parker claims that his group was instrumental in ousting Kenney as UCP leader and premier in 2020 and replacing him with Danielle Smith, who was formerly the leader of the Wildrose Party. Parker also claims that his group has gained control of half of the UCP board and has helped nominate more activist UCP candidates for the election. He says he wants to use his influence to make sure that Smith delivers on her promises and does not betray the conservative base. These are just some of the third parties that are trying to make an impact in Alberta's election. They face many challenges such as low name recognition, limited resources, media attention and voter support. But they also have some opportunities such as attracting disenchanted voters, offering fresh perspectives and creating coalitions with other parties or groups. Whether they will succeed or not remains to be seen, but one thing is certain. They are not giving up on their quest to change Alberta's politics for the better. The Alberta election is not just a battle between the NDP and the UCP. There are also several third parties that could shake up the outcome in some ridings. In this section, we will look at how the third parties in Alberta are influenced by or influencing the grassroots movements within the UCP, such as Take Back Alberta, which claims to have control over half of the party's board and some of its candidates. Take Back Alberta is a registered third-party advertiser in the election that takes credit for ousting Jason Kenney from power and has its sights set on stopping the NDP, according to its website. The group says it represents the true conservative values of Albertans and opposes the UCP's policies on COVID-19, healthcare, education, and energy. Take Back Alberta leader David Parker has said the group has its eye on controlling the other half of the UCP governing board after next year's vote. Take Back Alberta has also been involved in some controversies in this election. In Fort McMurray Wood, Buffalo, Take Back Alberta supported Zulkifil Mujahid, who won the UCP nomination but was later disqualified by the party after legal matters came up after his nomination. Mujahid is now running as an independent and has the backing of Take Back Alberta. He is facing incumbent UCP Tani Yao, who was reinstated as the candidate after Mujahid's disqualification, and another right-leaning independent, Funky Banjoko, who is a regional councillor. These three candidates could split the Conservative vote and allow another party to come up the middle. Another third party that could have an impact on the election is the Alberta Party, which is running 87 candidates across the province. The Alberta Party is a centrist party that aims to appeal to voters who are dissatisfied with both the NDP and the UCP. The party's leader is Barry Morishita, who is a former mayor of Brooks and a current president of the Alberta Urban Municipalities Association. Morishita is running in Brooks Medicine Hat against UCP leader Danielle Smith, who is a former Wildrose Party leader and a former radio host. Polling indicates that this riding is close and there might be a possibility of a vote for the Alberta Party. Other third parties that are running in this election include the Liberal Party, which has 51 candidates and is led by David Kahn, the Freedom Conservative Party, which has 29 candidates and is led by Derek Fildebrandt, and the Green Party of Alberta, which has 25 candidates and is led by Cheryl Shagnon Greyeyes. These parties have different platforms and priorities, but they all face challenges in gaining visibility and support in an election dominated by the NDP and UCP. Third parties in Alberta have a history of influencing election outcomes. In 2015, the Wildrose Party won 21 seats and became the official opposition, while the Progressive Conservative Party was reduced to 10 seats after 44 years in power. In 2012, the Wildrose Party came close to defeating the PCs but lost momentum after some controversial statements by some of its candidates. In 1993, Lawrence Decor's Liberals won 32 seats and became the official opposition, while Ralph Klein's PCs won 51 seats with only 44% of the vote. In this election, third parties may not win many seats, but they could affect the results in some ridings by attracting votes away from or towards either of the main parties. They could also represent alternative choices for voters who are unhappy with both the NDP and UCP. Third parties in Alberta are influenced by or influencing the grassroots movements within the UCP, such as Take Back Alberta, which claims to have control over half of the party's board and some of its candidates. They are also part of a broader political landscape that reflects the diversity and complexity of Alberta's society.